And when I think about all the years of what I've learned, you know, I think of a quote that I often hear from Sam. And what he always says is, nothing is inevitable, right? And so, you know, I don't believe in the inevitable. I don't believe in it. So what it means is, when you don't believe in the inevitable, it means you don't expect that that's how things have to turn out. You can change them. And I think what it's led, and what I have learned from it, is this idea of whatever business you're in, it doesn't matter. It's going to commoditize over time. It's going to devalue. You've got to keep moving it to a higher value. Keep going to a higher value in whatever it is that you do, and force yourself and force the organization, and always do it ahead of time, right? I will tell a story that I learned, and maybe in the same spirit. We all have a lot of mentees here, or people we mentor, and many of you are so accomplished. But when you say what keeps you fresh, I remember, and I want to connect sort of two stories, really early in my career. I can remember being offered a big job. And I can remember my reaction to the person who offered it to me. I right away said, you know what? I'm not ready for this job. I need more time, I need more experience, and then I could really do it well. And so I said to him, I need to go home and think about it. And I went home that night, and I've been married 32 years now. And my husband at the time, as usual, I'm blah, blah, blahing, and he's just sitting there. And as I'm telling him about this, and I told him I would get back to them tomorrow, and he said to me, he looked at me, and he just looked at me and he said, do you think a man would have ever answered that question that way? And I sort of sat there, and it taught me a lesson. And he said, I know you. You go do it. You're going to, you know, 6 months, you're going to be bored. You know, my goodness, why didn't you? And what it taught me was, and it's related to how do you stay fresh, what it taught me was you have to be very confident, even though you're so self-critical inside about what it is you may or may not know. And that, to me, leads to taking risks. Because I think it's easy for people to say, take a risk, take a risk. But I think it goes a little layer deeper. In my experience, as I have talked to women around the world, it doesn't matter what country I'm in. If I share that personal story, it resonates, because people are their first worst critic, and it stops them from getting another experience. Because it's, I could be better, if I was just ready yet, if I had one more thing, and that's not it. And I always say, you know, if I sit here and close my eyes and say, when did I learn the most in my life and my career, it'll always be when I close them, and everything I think of is when I took a risk, is when I think I learned the most. So it's a personal story of, to me, how you stay fresh at it is, you always have to do something that puts you in a zone you don't know. Someone once told me, growth and comfort do not coexist. And I think it's a really good thing to remember.